Welcome back to the table. Today I'm going to be giving you a look at the new expansion for Hidden Leaders. It's called Forgotten Legends, and it's got 3 different modules that can be mixed and matched however you'd like, each doing a little something different. Before I get to the expansion though, I do want to give you a very brief overview of the base game. If you want even more detail, be sure to check out our first look video, which we did for the original campaign. But in Hidden Leaders, you'll be playing hero cards into your party in order to have some impact on the main board. The main board is a power track with a couple markers that will move up and down throughout the game in a bit of a tug-of-war fashion. When one player has a certain number of face-up hero cards in their play area, the game's end is triggered and one of the 4 different factions is crowned victorious, based on the relative positions of those markers. Then, all the players will reveal their hidden leaders to show which factions they were allied with. If you were allied with the winning faction, then you've won the game. In the case of a tie, the win goes to the tied player with the most heroes from the winning faction in their party. It's a simple game to play, but all of that hidden information has people getting into each other's heads and second-guessing every card that's being played. With the Forgotten Legends expansion, the 3 modules can add from a little to quite a bit more, but all of them kind of serve that same main idea of the original game. The first module I'm going to talk about is the artifacts. This is probably the easiest one to add to the game and starts by giving each player 1 artifact during setup. There are 6 different artifacts in all, and each has a set number of uses marked by these artifact tokens. As you can see, these have very similar effects that a lot of the hero cards have on the game, but these things are locked and loaded and ready to use right from the beginning of the game. Some of them have a little lightning bolt symbol. These are usable during the first step of your turn, either before or after you play or discard cards. This 2-shot crossbow lets you bury any one face-up or face-down hero card. Some have an hourglass symbol, which are usable after the last step of your turn. The Secretive Seahorn, for example, allows you to exchange 1 face-down hero in your party with 1 card from your hand. And like I said, the artifacts are probably the easiest module to add into the game. They're just additional powers with a little flavor for each player right from the start. The next module I want to talk about is probably the one that most fans of the game are going to want to include right away, and that's the Guardians. The Guardians are a whole new faction, but they're implemented a little bit differently. You'll add the Guardian marker to the first space of the power track, include a number of new leaders into the ones chosen by players during setup, shuffle in a bunch of new hero cards into the main deck, and add a small deck of fate cards next to the graveyard. And those hero cards that you add to the main deck are a little bit different. You'll see that all of the new hero cards represent one of the base factions, but also have this little Guardian symbol toward the upper left. That means they count for both. When one of these is played for its effect, that player will also move the Guardian marker up 2 spaces on the power track. So that Guardian marker is going to just continue to lumber up the power track. But these cards also have a unique effect when they're added to the graveyard. When this happens, the player will draw 2 fate cards, select one for its effect, and then shuffle both back into the fate deck. And at the end of the game, the Guardian faction will win as long as the Guardian marker is further along the track than the other 2 markers. And this trumps all other win conditions. So like I said, I think this will be the most anticipated of the 3 modules, but the last one is pretty interesting too. It's called Corruption. This module adds the Corruption card next to the Harbor during setup, along with 2 face-down Corruption tokens. And all of the other Corruption tokens go into the bag, waiting for a player to spread Corruption. Corruption can be spread just 2 times during the course of the game, and this is going to be a choice by players once certain requirements have been met on the Corruption card. On your turn, if one of the thresholds on the Corruption card has been met, you can choose to spread Corruption. In that case, you'll take the Corruption token off of the card, and then every player, including you, will take a Corruption token out of the bag. Then, in player order, players will place those Corruption tokens on any hero they want to on the table. Now, this is a choice. You don't have to. If you don't want to place Corruption, you can simply place it back in the bag. But what do the Corruption tokens do? Some will change a hero's faction when determining the winner at the end of the game. Some will double the influence of a hero at the end of the game as well. And some will offer Guardian protection. These make the hero count as a Guardian faction if it's still on the hero at the end of the game, but also offer some defensive abilities when another player is trying to bury one of your heroes. So as you can see, whether it's the artifacts or the corruption or the guardians or some combination of all of them, this expansion adds a variety of different things that just sort of increase the mind games and all of the second guessing going on at the table. If you have any questions at all about the game, please make them in the comments below, and I promise I'll try to get down there and answer every single one of them. Until next time, of course, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.